ARADIA Beat, TGIF, the 90s Kickstarter has launched. Get your fill of 1990s nostalgia and Magical Girl comics and activities by making your pledge today. Tiers as low as $5 or as extravagant as $45. That gets you all the goodies. Save yourself from boredom with the power of love and friendship. Kickstarter links are down in the description. Greetings, groovy people! Welcome to the channel. I'm the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon. This is an art-related channel where I discuss my free webcomic, Dark Horse. The links are down in the description. It is not safe for work. Or I also talk about zine projects, like at the beginning of the video, you see we've got a Kickstarter running for ARADIA Beat. I had an extensive series kind of talking about ARADIA Beat and other zine projects that I work on. And I also just talk about art in general. This week I am first and foremost in the background going to be sketching and inking an image that's for my monthly drink pinup series, which I do only for Subscribestar. It's only over there. It's a lot of fun, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I really like doing projects like these, but I'm also gearing up for participating in the annual VDSD, which stands for the Valentine's Day Sex Drive. It's where a bunch of independent artists do essentially nudes from, however risque they want. It can be flat out porn if you want it to be. I tend to do more classical nudity usually. I'm going to show my past 3 submissions that I participated in. You just post it on your webcomic. And I personally have been using these events as well as my pinup series to work on learning how to draw the human form in different positions. Now, primarily, as you'll notice, these have all been women so far because, I enjoy the female form. I like drawing the female form. It also comes easier for me. However, I know that I need to start breaking out of my box and I need to work on drawing other body types, which I've done a little bit with the drink series, such as the one that I'm working on in the background. I'm going to show you, I don't know if I should make them black and white or what, but because it is specifically for people paying for my Subscribestar, I don't just want to reveal what everything looks like. I'll censor it. How about that? I'll censor these images, and I'm going to show you what my progress, how these have been going since I started. Some of them are better than others. I have found that when I actually use a reference, or several references more accurately, I do a hell of a lot better with my body types. But you can see I'm kind of trying to branch out and draw a variety of different people. Most of the shapes are the same. Most of them are thinner people, but for Halloween I did do the absinthe. I tried to give her a more Rubenesque shape, but I have been finding that doing things like this has really helped me to improve my ability to draw the body without reference. Now, I've talked about references a lot on this channel, and I'm not gonna go into a deep dive discussion about that, but I do just want to kind of talk about how what I tend to do, especially for these VDSD events, and even the drink series when I have time, which I need to, I have them by the end of the month, but the one that I'm working on in the background is a little behind, so and I'm not making jokes because we're seeing her backside. I realize after I say it, I totally Tobias Funke everything. Oh my gosh, I need to watch how I talk and be more present in the shit that I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, all the same, even though I'm a little bit late with this one, I really wanted to use a couple different references because the point is to improve on drawing people from different angles. I mean, you can see the variety of angles that I've taken and trying to make sure that I draw the characters in relation to different objects and holding things and stuff like that. Those are kind of some of the reasons why I like to do these drink series, in addition to giving a perk for people over on Subscribestar. I have just been having so much fun, and it really teaches me a lot. My glasses for the alcohol aren't always great, but I'm drawing them a lot better than I have in the past. So that's a good thing. For the VDSD this year, I haven't started yet, but I've begun collecting references that I'm going to use, because for the past 3 years, this is going to be my 4th year participating, I've primarily been drawing like my characters who identify as female, like, of course, and just the caveat here, Dark Horse jumps back and forth in time, so we see the main characters in the past, they're teenagers, but when we see them in Acts 3 and Act 4, they are adults. So we have a lot of like time jumping back and forth, or we will in this series, which we get an indicator of that already in like Acts 3 and 4. But for the past couple years, like I drew Rena for the VDSD, taking references from like Raquel Welch and a couple other, popular, I guess, icons from like the 1960s. And also in this image, when I drew Rena, one of the things that like somebody even had to comment on, which is fine, it's absolutely fine, but they commented that I didn't like the breasts. When I draw them naturally, like how they would look, not like how you see in a lot of images where the breasts are just always perky. If you're leaning forward like that, like I don't want to get too into it, but like I actually looked at what that would look like in the mirror. No, that's not what I'm just saying, just to get an idea, okay? I'm not gonna be weird about this. I've already made it weird. Anyway, moving along. But yeah, I try to draw it a little bit more naturalistic, which, doesn't always like placate people who want to see the female form bouncy and whatever, but like, again, the goal is to just kind of like these images, aside from maybe Keisuma, which I'll show in a minute. Keisuma's really the only image that's supposed to be at all tantalizing, but that not even really, because like I don't find her sitting on a pile of dead bodies attractive. I guess some people might, but yeah, with these poses, I'm really trying to be more playful and just kind of pay homage to the form. So the second time I participated in the VDSD, I did the image of Keisuma, and again, all of this is kind of pulling and showing like their personality, whereas Rena is really kind of a free spirit and kind of bubbly. That's kind of like the expression and the form that I was going for with the first one I participated with Keisuma. She's, so far as we can understand, she's a succubus in so many words. She's not, I don't want to give spoilers, but she's more than that. But that's why I kind of have like, she's the villain, so I kind of pulled from that whole, the Scar scene, with all the green and the Lion King, and I did my own thing with it with this specific villain. But also you can see she's attempting to be alluring. She's very confident in her pose. She doesn't give any fucks. And then when I drew Kana, and had this image for last year, Kana, her personality, she's a lot more reserved. Like, yeah, normally she would actually not ever actually be nude like this, but when I drew her nude, like, she's just sitting and looking at you from the side. So I tried to keep her a little bit more reserved in like her pose and everything. So this year I'm going to be tackling Odysseus. And as I mentioned a couple minutes ago before I went on that tangent, I've started collecting references. What I do is I try to pull from a couple different references. So like I had several references for Keisuma's legs, a different one for her body, and then of course I was referencing like my own character to make sure that she looks like herself as close as I can get it with my skill level. Same thing with Kana. I used a couple different references because I don't just, like, it's okay, especially when you're trying to learn to draw the form, to draw it exactly as you see it, but it's also very helpful to learn how to combine different references so that you can make a unique pose and you're not just relying on the reference that you find or a single reference. You can kind of create your own pose and challenge yourself to learn how the body moves by looking at a couple different references. If that makes sense. I don't know. I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of what I do. And we saw that even in last week's video where I was drawing the character Karen Blue, I was using my partner's tablet that he has, and I was looking up a couple different references. Like I had the reference from Adorka Stock, but then, you know, I changed her position from what was there, so I had to look at somebody else's legs, and I had to look at clothing from a different source, and I had to look at somebody else's hair, because the elements that I wanted to draw together weren't all in a single reference. So that's what I'm going to be doing with Odysseus. I have a clear idea of how I want to draw him this year. Again, I have drawn the nude male form a couple times, but I wouldn't say I'm nearly as comfortable with it as I am with the nude female form. And again, eventually I'm going to need to branch out into a lot of different body types. So I'm taking it baby steps. This is kind of how I work. I start with one thing and then I incrementally build myself up, taking myself outside of my comfort zone into things that I don't do quite as often. So I have like this idea, because Odysseus is kind of like most of my characters are from blended backgrounds. And when I say blended, I mean they're like, you know, like Rena, for instance. Her mom is half Caucasian, half Japanese American. Or if we look at, you know, Kana, she doesn't come from a single background. She has like a Polish German background. And then if we're talking about someone like Odysseus, he comes from, like, his father is from Greece, and then his mother is like Irish American and probably something else. I can't remember because it hasn't been pertinent, but it's in my notes somewhere. But like, what I'm doing is I'm trying to like use like a different, like a wide variety of references. And for him, I'm going to be like trying to draw his form kind of like influenced by Rodin, the thinker, and that's a French artist. That's not a Greek artist. But I'm also going to be looking at some statues from like some that were done by some of the famous Greeks. Not Michelangelo's Italian, but Michelangelo and a lot of those famous Italian like neoclassical artists, or maybe they were classical. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But a lot of them were actually paying homage to like these old Grecian statues. So I might be looking at some of that. I don't know. I've already got like some actual like just male model references that I've been kind of searching for. And I'm going to try to put together an image that kind of pays homage to like classical art in a way, but also demonstrates like his own like personality, much like how I've been kind of doing with these other characters. The reason why I picked the thinker is because that's kind of, with him, that's kind of like, he does like to kind of learn and study and stuff. So of course the thinker is like part of a larger piece. It's part of the Gates of Hell, which was influenced, a little history lesson. It doesn't make any difference or anything, but like these are like the silly things that I think about when I'm doing and working on things. It's not pertinent at all or necessary in the story, but like the Gates of Hell was influenced by Dante's Inferno, and the main character of that, or one of the characters in it, is Virgil. And while of course they are all Italian, a lot of that was influenced, a lot of the sculpture was influenced by Grecian artwork and sculptures and so on and so forth. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a stretch, but that's kind of like some of the things that I'm thinking about whenever I'm working on some of this stuff, some of it. But yeah, that's all I really have to say this week. Next week, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I think I have planned a challenge. Picking up from like some old Casey Golden videos that I've been watching. She had participated in this 10 minute, 1 minute and 10 second challenge. So I'm gonna try that next week and fail miserably, I'm sure. But I was watching her and I was just having so much fun watching those videos. I was like, you know what? I want to try that. So yeah, tune in next week for that. That's all I've got to say this week. Thanks for watching. Check out ARADIA Beat if you like magical girls and want to help support independent artists. We're very close to reaching our goal. We're so close. So check that out if you're interested, please. Or spread the word. That is much appreciated. Seriously. Share it with your magical girl fan friends. Or magical boy fan friends. Or magical MB fan friends. And just share it around. Spread the love. Okay. Let's close this. Peace and love. Fare you well. And keep on trucking.